How's it going, guys? This is Vincenzo from home of Milan coming back at you once again. Furthermore, today we got a very exciting game to cover in the Lazio match in the Serie A. Before we get into this, guys, make sure you guys follow us on all of our socials at Instagram, Twitter, TikTok, and bunches, all at home of Milan. So without any further ado, guys, let's jump into this. This seemed like an absolute classic of a Serie A match. Our last couple meetings with Lazio were very exciting, and something just about them had that feeling that this would be a great match. And this one clearly did not disappoint in terms of entertainment. However, in terms of a footballing perspective for Milan, it was terrible. The first half, we commonly saw Milan play with that notorious 5-0-5 formation, even though Pioli in a press conference said that this would just be an accusation if we played this way. But we 100% lost the midfield battle. Adli not really playing up to his usual self. Loftus-Cheek not getting involved like he usually does. And Benacer still looking like he's recovering from an injury. Lazio shut us down on all fronts, maybe with a half chance from Pulisic being there. But other than that, nothing a whole lot happened in the first 45. Second half, we opened up with what seemed like a lot more urgency going forward, and 13 minutes in, Lazio wanted the ball to go out of play due to one of their men being down on the field, but the referee didn't blow the whistle or really didn't acknowledge this, and the play was still live. Pulisic takes the ball from Pellegrini, and he does the stupidest thing by pulling Pulisic down by his shirt with a yellow card already being branded to the Italian, and he receives a second yellow for that action and is sent off. And we saw the first set of substitutions come in, and Reijnders looked absolutely phenomenal coming in, back from his suspension, and Florenzi coming out for Calabria. And Florenzi having a great run of games, these most recent ones. He just didn't look to have a great one versus Lazio, especially with that first pass back mistake from Miln in the first half. Looked a little shaky, so Florenzi did have to come off. But then we started to grow into the match and being a lot more threatening with chances being created. And Leao scores a goal. However, it was ruled offside by the slightest of margins with a great pass from Reijnders, just splitting the Lazio defense. But after the disallowed chance, Teo makes one of his signature runs through the middle of the pitch, finds Leao on the left, and Leao puts in a ball for Noah Okafor, who gets that deflection off of the post and rebounds it in for the winning goal. And coming off of the bench, Okafor grabs his 5th goal of the season. And I think Okafor in these next couple games should have the nod over Jovic. I feel like Okafor is a little bit more clinical in front of goal. I feel like he takes his chances when they're there. Obviously, we've seen Jovic miss a couple chances here and there, or rather half chances, but Okafor playing in that number 9, being a mobile striker with Leao on the left and Pulisic on the right, I think will really bring out the best in not only Okafor, but the players around him. And we clearly saw that in the Lazio game. So big up Okafor. And I was a little nervous because Provedel was doing very well keeping all of our shots, but Okafor did very good to put enough power on it in a difficult space at that to put it past the Lazio goalkeeper as well. And it was super great seeing the return of Fikayo Tomori in our starting back line for the first time in what seems ages, right? We've seen Teo, Tomori, and Calabria and Miln all back there for the first time in a very long time. So it was super good seeing them, and hopefully we can all see them in action soon. And this was also a massive result as well, because this was our first clean sheet since we beat Empoli 3-0 during January 7th. So big up to that. And towards the end of the game, obviously, we saw Lazio get 2 more red cards. Obviously, Matteo Guendouzi pushing down Pulisic, and also Adam Marusic getting a red card as well. And there's been so much talk about how this game was mismanaged, and I most definitely agree. I feel like there was just so much yellow cards and red cards, and I feel like the referee really needed to control the game, and clearly it was not. However, in terms of entertainment, it was great, but I think in terms of, if you just look at this broadly, I feel like this game was not officiated great. Let's go to tops and flops. Top, I'm going to say Pulisic, because without a lot of his actions, in my opinion, we don't come away with the 3 points. Obviously, having a hand in some of the red cards, constantly drawing fouls, and just being dangerous going forward. I feel like Pulisic was definitely one of our more influential players going forward versus Lazio. And flop, I'm going to say Florenzi, just because I feel like Florenzi really had a couple mistakes here. Defensively, he really wasn't that great. And obviously Lazio just kept peppering that right-hand side because they saw Florenzi being a little bit weaker, I guess you could say. So for that reason, Florenzi is going to be my flop. And I also wanted to talk about this clip from after the game because Zlatan after the game came down to the pitch, and maybe I'm just over analyzing this, but Zlatan didn't even want to look at Pioli as he gives him the handshake, and he's clearly not happy with how he played, especially with Lazio being a man down. We should have capitalized on such a great opportunity, but Pioli today most definitely showed his tactical incompetence. And Gary Cardinale came out in a press conference earlier this week saying that Zlatan is his eyes and ears and mouth for the management. And I'm sure he had a lot to say about this Lazio performance. Allegedly, Zlatan came down into the locker room to talk to the team at halftime. So I think that says a lot about where Milan is kind of at coaching wise. Obviously, there's been so many links with us, with coaches and stuff like that. But I feel like more recently than not, I feel like Pioli is in the hot seat, especially with Cardinale coming out in that press conference saying all that, saying that the level of Milan needs to be higher. Obviously, the medical staff needs to be changed, which is very good to hear that our owner is saying this. So we could see a lot of changes coming in this summer, not only tactically, but also managerially as well. Let's preview our next game in the Europa League versus Slavia Praha. Obviously, this game is a home match in Milan. So Milan in our last 5 games have 2 wins, 2 losses, and 1 draw in all competitions, compared to Slavia Praha's 2 wins, 2 draws, and 1 loss, also in all competitions. Even though we are kind of in some shaky form, I do think that we will get a result versus Slavia Praha. I think also this will be a great sign to come if we do see our starting back line come back in this match. I feel like that will be absolutely massive. And if we do keep a clean sheet, which I do think that we will, I feel like that will also be a morale booster as well. So therefore, I'm going to predict a 2-0 win for Milan to give us the lead going into the second leg. And quickly, let's just preview our next game in the Serie A versus Empoli. Currently, Empoli sit in 14th place when in their last 5 games, they have 2 draws, 2 wins, and a loss. In the league, we have 3 wins, 1 loss, and a draw. So I think, obviously, this should be easy money for Milan. There really shouldn't be any problems going forward. Obviously, we are also at home for this one, I believe. So I do think that also Milan will get the result, and I do think that we will get a clean sheet as well. Obviously, we've got the clean sheet versus Lazio, which was our first one since we played Empoli. So I feel like we will match that same performance with a 3-0 win as well. I think that'll do it for this episode, guys. Thank you so much for tuning in. Make sure you guys like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you guys think about the whole Lazio game, how it was officiated. And let me know what you guys think about our run in the Europa League and the results versus Slavia Praha. Thank you guys so much for tuning in, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Ciao ragazzi.